Last week, we talked about low CAC and how it is not necessarily the arbiter of customer health or a pull market that brands often think it is. So this week, we're going to flip the script a bit and talk about high CAC, specifically what happens when the response to rising CACs is the wrong one, because there is a CAC trap, or what I call the price CAC spiral. And by the time operators recognize it, they've likely spent 12 months making their business simultaneously more expensive and more fragile. Hi, I'm Alex Orley, and this is Hard Margins, your weekly e-commerce brief brought to you by RetentionX. RetentionX closes the loop from identity to insight to agentic execution, helping commerce brands understand customer value, identify growth opportunities, and execute against those opportunities through intelligent workflows and agents. This week is all about the price CAC spiral, what it is, how it forms, 4 principles that explain why it's so hard to escape once you're in it, and the specific moves that you can actually use to break it. Okay, so the first question, how the CAC price spiral forms. Think about it this way. Your CAC edges up, not dramatically, just enough to matter incrementally over time. The first response is almost never to raise prices, it's to discount. You start initiating promos, they get deeper, your bundles get more aggressive, and your offers get stacked. And what happens is your margin quietly erodes. The only way to counter that margin erosion is to raise prices. So now what you've done is your CAC's gone up, you've discounted, affecting your customer file, your margins eroded, you've raised prices, and that adds friction to every conversion. Customers need more convincing, creative gets heavier, and you have to expand your retargeting, and ultimately, CAC edges up again. So all of those actions you just took a marginal incremental increase in CAC and drove it up further. Each individual decision made sense in the meeting where it was made, but taken together over 12 months, they describe a business working harder and harder for the same result and likely a worse customer file. That's the spiral, and most teams don't see it until they look back at a full year of data and realize the entire model has become more expensive and more fragile. Without stronger LTV or a reliable repeat product underneath it, the loop keeps tightening. There are 4 things worth internalizing here because they each explain a different way the spiral sustains itself and sucks you in. First, discounts feel like a CAC fix, but they're usually a margin problem in disguise. Deeper promos defend volume by making conversion cheaper, but they compress contribution margin, attract discount-dependent cohorts, and create the conditions that make a price increase mandatory down the road. The discount isn't solving the CAC problem, it's deferring it while also making it worse. Second, price hikes change your persuasion load, not just your margin. Every time you raise prices, you're asking the market for a new level of belief in your product. More proof, more creative variation, more objection handling. A price increase can protect contribution margin on the order and still weaken the business if it raises the cost and the complexity of getting someone to say yes. Third, and this is the one I'd pay the most attention to, CAC problems are often retention problems in disguise. If customers came back quickly and repaid CAC fast, rising acquisition costs would be easier to absorb. If you listened to my interview with Lee Reitelman from Plant Paper a few weeks ago, we talk about this. It's worth a listen if you haven't checked it out yet. The real danger here isn't expensive traffic, it's expensive traffic landing in a business with weak repeat behavior. LTV is what turns a high CAC from lethal into something manageable. And last, most brands need what I'd call a milk product. The name comes from grocery store logic. Milk is what every supermarket is built around. It's not the most exciting SKU, but the one that brings customers back on a reliable cycle without requiring persuasion. In e-commerce terms, that's a repeatable, low-friction staple. A daily moisturizer, coffee, refills, supplements. Without one, growth becomes narrative-heavy and increasingly fragile. If your product mix doesn't support repurchasable SKUs, the equivalent is a clear journey starter, a product that naturally leads to follow-up purchases. These are the operator-level changes worth making in roughly the order I'd prioritize them. Start off by building a weekly price CAC spiral dashboard. Think about your CAC, your discount rate, your average selling price, your MSRP, your conversion rate, your 90-day LTV, and your payback and return rate, all in one view by channel and SKU. The discount rate belongs here because discounting is almost always the first move in the spiral before the price even changes. You want to see it forming early before the team explains it away as creative fatigue or seasonality. Then classify your assortment into persuasion heavy versus staple repeat products. I've heard these referred to as replenishment styles or core styles. Regardless, measure 60 to 90-day repeat rate on these products, your CM1 and return rate by SKU. This tells you which of your products can carry scale and which only perform when marketing pressure is high. That distinction changes how you allocate spend and which products you put at the front of your acquisition strategy. Set price guardrails based on payback, not margin alone. Before raising prices, define the rule. If conversion drops and payback crosses your threshold, the hike failed. Prices should be judged by what they do to your full customer economic picture, not just the per order math. On your staple products, make repeat effortless. Subscriptions should be easy, refill reminders, one-click reorders. Your post-purchase flows should be timed to the actual usage. The goal is to compress payback by making the second purchase happen sooner, not by discounting it into existence, but by removing friction from the path back to purchase. And lastly, cap spend on narrative-heavy SKUs until they've earned it through customer economics. Don't let your ad account crown a hero that the underlying cohort data can't support. Louder marketing doesn't break the spiral, stronger customer economics does. Faster repeat, better LTV, and at least one staple repeat engine in your catalog allow you to fix your engine and make CAC survivable. If you leave it broken, every optimization you make just tightens the spiral. If you've got questions about this episode or want to leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Any topics you'd like me to cover. You can shoot me a note directly at alex.o@retentionx.com. Thanks for listening. I'm Alex Orley. This has been Hard Margins, brought to you by RetentionX. I'll see you right here next week.